Hi everyone! After taking a little break in August, we are back with another lovely fancy fall challenge. So this month we are making inverted easel cards together with Monica, aka Paper Mona, Monica from Crafting with Quilling Lady, Christine from Christine Cards and Things, Jenny from Ginger Ninja Crafts, our brand new group member Carrie from Carrie's Cards Creations, and myself. We will be showing you this month our take on the inverted easel card fold. We also have a Facebook group, the Fancy Fold Craft Challenge, where we welcome you to share your own creations as well. We would love to see what you make. As always, the tutorials made by the other ladies will be linked in the description box below. Be sure to check those out as well. If you don't know what way easel cards work, it is just a normal card base and you fold one half of them in half again, just like I done it in here. Fold it back and add your topper. Just pretend that this would be my topper in now. So this would be a normal easel card. For an inverted card, all we have to do is flip that bottom portion upwards. So from a normal easel, just flip it upwards. And now your topper becomes the main panel in there, which will also slide behind the stopper that we will be adding onto the card base to make sure the card is not sliding shut once it's displayed. So this would be a very basic inverted easel card. Today I'm going to work with a shaped one and I opted for a diamond shaped one. Now I will need 3 panels of these all together for my card base and the mechanism, 2 of which I already created in advance, and I'm going to show you how I made them on this third one. So I am starting with a 5 by 7 inch cardstock. It's a plain white heavyweight cardstock, and I have to add some measurements in here. So I'm just going to use a ruler and a pencil to mark halfway across all 4 sides. So on the 5 inch side, I'm just adding a little pencil mark at the 2.5 inch mark. And on the 7 inch sides, I'm going to add a pencil mark on the 3.5 inch mark. If measuring out like this is not your thing though, fear nothing. Please be sure to stay tuned because I will be showing you a couple of different ways so how you can bypass this step altogether. I will be giving a couple of options. So in here, just for the sake of the video, I am connecting those little dots with my pencils so you can see what I'm doing, but I wasn't doing this on all the panels. This is just on this one to show you on this video. So you don't have to do this, but if you need to, feel free to do this. It's very easy to rub away any excess with rubber afterwards. So in here, I am just lining everything up in my trimmer. The trimmer that I'm using is from Craftstage, the Creative Craft Products one, and I absolutely love this trimmer. I haven't stopped using it since I got it. It really is such a good one, and it's quite affordable. So I'm rubbing away all the excess pencil lines that stayed in there. And now 2 of these will stay as they are for a card base and the front panel. One will be act as a mechanism. So I need to put some score lines in this. I'm making sure that the 2 corners are lined up in the same groove, and I'm adding a score line right down in the middle of my cardstock. So now I have 2 triangles on either side of the score line. I am coming in about 1 inch, and I don't recommend to go more than 1 inch with another score line from one end of this diamond, because that is what I will attach to my card base with. And if I leave it any bigger than the 1 inch, then the angle of my front panel does not just look that nice. It kind of leans back a little bit too much, what I find, but you can experiment with your measurements. In my experience, about 1 inch for this size of a card works absolutely perfect. So I'm folding and burnishing both of those score lines. And now I'm going to work on some mats and layers for this. Of course, if you wish, you can use just the 1 layer on top of your cardstock, and that's perfectly fine. I just personally like to use 2 layers, mats, and a layer on top of the card base. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll give you the measurements for both. For my mats, I chose these orangey colors from the paper pad from the Leafy Lace collection by Chloe's Creative Cards. And my layers will be from the Summer Florals paper pad. So the mats are cut to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 each. And again, I'm going to mark them at halfway. For the 4 3/4 size, it's 2 3/8, and for the 6 3/4 size is 3 3/8. Now, again, if you do not like to do these measurements, I will very shortly in here show you a trick how you can completely go past that. It's such a cool tip. You'll see. And here I'm just showing you, if you do not connect the dots with the pencil lines, those little dots are just as easily lined up in the groove of your trimmer or gluten or whatever it is you use to cut those bits away. Now, if using 1/8 of an inches and 1/16 of an inches and all that gets a bit confusing to you, here is a very cool tip. Now, I did get confused a lot at the start of my crafting journey because I was used to millimeters and centimeters all my life, and the inches were getting a bit confusing. So here's a cool tip. I cut out the same measurements from plain white copy paper. This is just a scrap piece of copy paper cut to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. And I am folding it in half each way, making sure that I get a nice crisp fold line in the middle. Now I'm folding it on the other side, and I'm just making sure that the corners properly match up. So I get 2 really nice straight crisp lines in there. And you can see how this would work just with any measurements at all, because it is so really nice and easy to find a halfway point this way. Because now I'm going to place it on top of my paper or cardstock that I need to measure in half. And all I have to do is slide it down just a smidge, just a millimeter or not even, from the top. And now, because I have a lovely crisp line in the middle, I exactly can see where to add the pencil mark. It's so easy. Now I don't have to use my ruler to do this. But if this is still not your thing, please stay tuned to the end of this video, because I have another way of doing a diamond easel card without adding any kind of dots or cutting any bits away, without having diamond dies. Because if you do have diamond dies in your stash, nesting dies, of course you could just easily use those as well. Now, if you're cutting your papers on the trimmer, sometimes it leaves you with that lip, or I don't know what's it called. It kind of stands up a bit, on the edges aren't as smooth as I would like. All you have to do is smooth it down with your bone folder, and there's nothing that I can feel now sticking out at all. So that's very easy fix. And my blade is sharp. It's a brand new blade I'm using, but these things can still happen with cutting your paper with a trimmer like this. So now again, these pieces of paper from the pattern paper pad measure 4.5 by 6.5, and I'm measuring down halfway at 2.25 and 3.25 and cutting away again. But of course you can use the tip with the copy paper on those as well. So I cut them out outside of camera because there's no point me repeating the same process. So these will line up on top of each other very nicely, but I'm adding a bit of glitter just onto the top layers, just by using my Chisel Tip Glue Pen and dipping it into all 4 sides into the crystalline glitter. So both of those, the floral and the stripy pattern, were done by glitter like that. And in here I'm just using my Collal Glue to layer all these 3 up. And you can see how I am left with that lovely border between each layers. So this is the 2 panels ready. One will be for my card base, one for the front panel. On the card base, I'm going to glue my mechanism onto. So I'm adding my quick grab glue just to that little triangle. Make sure it doesn't ooze out outside of that triangle. Well, starting to line it up from the other end of my cardstock, I'm pushing it back and making sure I apply a little pressure until that glue properly sticks. So if I was to fold my triangle downwards in there, like I showed you, that would be your basic easel card. This way, folding it upwards and adding glue just to the triangle, gluing my panel onto it, this would be the reversed easel card. But now, note please how my panel is exactly the same size as my mechanism. Now, I will show you some other examples at the end of this video where I made the panel a bit smaller, and it gives you a slightly different look, and I absolutely love how those turned out as well, so please stay tuned. To make my flowers, I pulled out one of my older Paper Craft Society waxes, and this one was by Chloe's Creative Cards as well. I'm using the medium and the small size flowers, both the dies and the stamps. Using the dies, I cut them out of plain vellum, And I'm going to use the stamp with my Versamark ink, stamp the lovely detail on top of that vellum. And I will be using super fine bright white embossing powder by Wow to heat emboss this. You can of course use a colorful embossing powder, or you can use a colorful ink with clear embossing powder to do this. I opted for white because I want to add some color onto these flowers using my ink pads. So not on the side where the heat embossing was done, but on the underside, I'm going to add some color. The two distress oxiding pads I have Spice Marmalade and Saltwater Taffy, and I'm adding the orange towards the end of the petals and the pink and all over the middle of the flowers. For the smaller flowers, I did it opposite, the pink towards the end of the petals and the orange in the middle. And here, this piece of ink, I'm not going to waste it. Now, I only have one flower in there, but I was working on all the flowers and there's a lot more ink on my glass mat, which I hate wasting. So I like to pick it up with some watercolor cardstock, just like you see it in here. And this would make a lovely panel for one of my cards in the future, or you could use that to cut your flowers out of as well. So for each flower, I have 3 layers of these, what I just showed you. And on one of these layers, I'm just adding random dots here and there with a dry clear glue. And then I'm going to dip this into my crystalline glitter as well. Now, because the glue is quite white in there, it's not yet dry, I have another piece in here that the glue already dried on, and all you can see is that gorgeous sparkle, which doesn't really show in here. I appreciate that, but I will add some close-ups at the very end of this video. So for the 3 layers in here, I'm going to shape my petals just by folding them all downwards and then pressing down in the middle of the petals in my palm of my hands, just like so. You can of course use flower forming tools for this. I think it's just very easy to do it in the palm of my hands as well. So I'm going to use my hot glue to layer these up, and I'm starting with the 2 layers without the glitter, and the layer that I added my glitter to will be going onto the very top. And now I have a cute, very full, very pretty flower. So I'm taking out some of these apricot color or peach color pearls from one of Chloe's pearl boxes, and I'm just adding 3 in the middle of the larger size. For the 2 smaller flowers, I added the medium size, just like in here, and I had them prepared in advance. That foliage die and the tealy turquoise paper from the same paper pad, I cut out several of these using both sides of the paper, the lighter and the darker ones. And in the box kit, we also had these lovely swirly, it's very glittery silver detail. And I will show you at the end. I all forgot about these in the box, to be honest. I was so happy to find them. I said, yeah, I'm going to use those definitely. So it was a happy finding. Now, just one more thing I need to prepare to make sure that my card won't slide shut when it's opened or displayed. I need a stopper, and I decided to use my Sentiment, the Hunky Dory Tangerine ink pad, and the Wow Clear Embossing Powder, what I used to stamp and heat emboss my Sentiment with. And it is from the Tiny Tag and Sentiment Plaque Stamp and Die Set by Chloe's Creative Cards. This is so cute. I've been using this quite a bit on my cards lately, which I will be sharing now very soon. And the tiny tag has some sentiment stamps there to fit in there too, and so do these plaques. The larger one I cut out of this orangish paper from the same paper pad as the mats I used on my card, and I added foam pads underneath because this will have to have some dimension to make sure that my card front can nicely tuck in behind it and hold it open. It's very hard to show it from this angle because the camera is overhead, obviously, but I will give some footage or show you some footage and images at the very end of this video. Now all I'm doing is using my hot glue to fix everything in place, and I decided to go just with the left hand side in there, and I'm going to tuck some of the foliage in there. Some of them I'm going to leave long as they are. Some of them I will be tearing in half to make sure it will tuck. I will be making a box for this card, so it wouldn't really matter if it was overhanging off my card base, because for a 5x7 inch box, obviously there would be plenty of space to decorate the overhang, but I just chose to kind of keep it nice and content within that diamond. I think it just looked real nice and cute. cute. So this is just my personal choice, but if you're going to be using an envelope box or a box for this, you just keep in mind that you have plenty of room to play with for some of the things to hang off your card edges. So this is how it will stand up. One last thing that I want to do is some pink pearls. They go very well with some of the flowers on that pattern paper. So I wanted to bring a bit of a pink onto the base as well. So that's what I decided to go with, and I'm using some of the large, some of the medium, and some of the small little pearls, flat back pearls as well. And this is finishing my card now. I think it's so adorable. It turned out so pretty. As I said, I will be showing you some different examples as well, and I'm going to give you a little tip how you can avoid measuring or cutting away triangles of your cardstock to create a diamond shape as well. And just to quickly show you, on this card you have plenty of room to write your message. You can do that either at the back, on the bottom, or you can flip it open and write your message on the inside. So there's quite a lot of options. So the first make that I want to share alongside with this one is exactly the same as this one, only I use purples and blues to create this one. Same paper pads, same everything, just different colors. The Distress Oxide inks I used were the Broken China and Shaded Lilac. And to stab my sentiment, I used the Blueberry by Prisma Hunky Dory ink pads. And this is such a gorgeous color, I really love it. And I added a little bit of a blingy rhinestones in there from some of the bling boxes by Chloe's Creative Cards instead of the pearls. Now, I did say that these have the same size of the front as the card base and the mechanism. Now, if I make the card front a little bit smaller, just look at that cool look that I got in there. Now, I didn't decorate this card base yet. This will be one of my Christmas cards. But look, you can see that different color poking out behind the card front in there, the front panel in there. And that is such a beautiful look. Now, if you do not like measuring, cutting away corners, look at this. You can just use a simple square. All you have to do is turn it 45 degrees and that's your square. You can cut this away using your trimmer or using your square nesting dies, and you have a lovely diamond shaped card created. Again, scored 9 just halfway, exactly the same way as we did at 1 inches on one end, and just attach them. Instead of the longer diamonds, you just get a square diamond shape in here, and I think it's pretty good too. Now, if you want to leave your front panel a little bit smaller than the card base again on this one, you'll get a slightly different look, like this one in here. How cool is this? So the first square I showed you was a 6 by 6 inch square card, and this one, the smaller one, is 5 by 5 inches, and I think they both look so lovely. So I didn't decorate any of these cards because I wanted you to be able to see the difference on the card bases. Now, if you want to jazz it up a bit and you have some fancy edged dies like this one here, what I have is by Chloe's Creative Cards, so it has decorative edges and decorative corners as well. You can use something like this to create diamond fold cards as well, just like in here. Again, I have not decorated it yet because I wanted to show you the difference between each of these cards. But I will come back to decorate these for Christmas, and I will show you on a future video what I managed to do with them. So I think they all turned out so nice. What do you think, guys? Have you ever made a reverse easel card? Do let me know, or an inverted easel card, some people call it. I think they are so pretty. So these are the two finished ones. Let me know which one is your favorite. Is it the blue, purple, or is it the one that we made on camera today, the orange and pink? Please be sure to check out all the other ladies' videos as well. I have them all linked in the description box below. If you decide to share your make on social media, please use our hashtag. You can see on my screen now. And you can also join our Facebook group where you can also share your lovely makes. We would love to see what you make. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so, and hit the notification bell, because with my next video coming back, I will be making a gorgeous flip lid box to fit these cards in. Make sure you don't miss out on that one. I really hope to see you back soon. Until then, bye!